I'm Danny, and this is the Scream Princess podcast. Hello there, everybody. I'm Danny, and this is the very first ever episode of the Scream Princess podcast. And today I'm joined by two of my most favoritist people. Favoritist, is that a word? I'm having it. It's a word. I've got Megan Lockhurst and Cheryl Neve, two of my bestest friends in the whole world. And we actually all met on the set of a horror movie. So that's how this links into the kind of podcast all about things to do with horror. So how are you girls?
Good.
Very good, thank you. How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was well, I actually kind of was all Christmased out before Christmas. I did like 3 Christmases. We did a Christmas, which we'll go into. And then I went back to my mum's for Christmas and we did our Christmas at home the week before. So and I had got a cold for Christmas. So
Oh,
yeah, so it was quiet.
oh
How was yours?
no.
How was yours?
Cheryl?
Yeah, it's been good. Just chilling with my kids, playing games, eating too much chocolate, as usually happens.
I love food. Love food at Christmas. I spent most of my Christmas in a food coma, unfortunately. I couldn't it was my first Christmas where we went to a pub and had a meal at a pub, and I've never done that before, but we're trying to be less traditional. And it was a lovely meal. But I would say by 4 o'clock, I was ready to sleep for like hibernate sleep. I was done. So trying to produce any form of conversation with people was just not happening. It's like I just want to sleep. So, but
Well, I was
that's
with them.
turkey and potatoes make you sleep.
I was with some other friends over Christmas, and we all had a bit of a cold, so nobody really wanted to cook. And we'd had a big Christmas party a couple of weeks ago as well, so we decided to get a Chinese. And I thought that more Chinese takeaways would actually be open on Christmas Day because I don't think they celebrate Christmas. Because all of the Indian restaurants were open, but I didn't really fancy an Indian. So we looked on Just Eat and then we ended up driving around on this big kind of tour of the area. Couldn't find anywhere open. So we ended up going north of the tunnel, so north of the Tyne, and found one there. So we brought our Chinese home. So it was not a traditional Christmas dinner, but I mean, there's never a time that I don't want Chinese food, so it
Oh,
worked.
I love Chinese food.
Yeah.
Mm, delicious.
So I think first we'll talk about how we all met. So we did a little horror film. Was it 2019 or 18? It was before
Yeah,
lockdown,
19, 2019.
2019, and it was summer. And we did this film, and we all basically had to live on a campsite for, I think I was there for like 11 nights, which is quite a lot considering camping. And I'd gone practice camping first just to kind of see if I could survive like tent life. And I actually really liked it, so it was fine. Um, and then Megan and Cheryl were also both in the film. So Megan was like the lead protagonist. I was the baddie. Um, and I was actually really evil to both of you in the film, mostly to
You were
Cheryl.
so
Your
mean to
makeup
us.
was great though. I I give you props for that makeup because it was really creepy. And you did it yourself.
No, I didn't.
Did you not? I thought you
No.
did makeup.
No, I didn't do the makeup. That was like one time that I didn't do my own makeup because I often do end up doing my own makeup for things. But no, I was in makeup like first thing in the morning though, like before everybody else, because I was basically half painted white. But it was this clown paint which doesn't dry, and it was summer, so it was like hot, and it's like everything I touched, this white stuff's coming off, and like I had like black leggings were my costume, and it was like rubbing onto them. So I think by the end of it, I just looked like I don't know, a bit of a mess. But I had white paint in my car until I sold my car. It was still in the door of my car. And there was some fake blood in the door of the car as well. So I don't know what people thought when they were buying it, but
Amazing.
kind of a problem that comes with the job.
Yeah, but that's how my first experience meeting Danny, I'd actually already gone to bed. It was a really long day, and it rained so much before you
Mm.
got there. And we were just in this crazy big campsite, which was essentially a field, very dark, no lights. And I was really shattered from the day. So I just escaped everybody and sort of tucked myself in, and I was all cozy. And next thing I know, I hear this really lovely little voice like calling out for her dog, Dolly. And I was lying there and I could hear the rain. And I'm like, oh, do I like, am I going to be nice and get up and help, or am I going to be horrible and just pretend I don't exist and hide? And I could not. Firstly, I wanted to meet you anyways because I'd heard so much about you, but also there's no way I could let you and your little dog, you know, be out in that weather, because Dolly sort of went missing, and she never used, like, she would always stay by you, so it was really odd.
That was the weirdest thing, wasn't it? Because she never used to leave our
Yeah.
side.
And it was, like I say, it was so wet that a lot of the tents actually had water in them,
Yeah.
because there was just so many sort of stoops and stuff. And I got out, and that's how we met. And it was, you were so grateful and so lovely about it as well.
I just didn't know where she
And
could have gone. It was like, and it was so dark, and she was a
so
tiny little dog. I was like, if she didn't come back, I don't know how we would have found her.
yeah, because there was that really creepy looking shed to the side as
Mm.
well. And I reckon she just caught a scent of something in there and just went, or was like, no, I'm
Yeah.
not staying in this tent. What do you think?
It might have been because the grass was wet and she didn't really like getting wet feet. So it might have been that. I don't know, but she
Yeah,
did disappear.
that's how we met, though.
That is how
We
we
had
met.
a good meeting story.
Yeah, and Cheryl arrived a few days into the shoot. So I think you were there a day before me, and then Cheryl was a couple of days later. And Cheryl turns up, and I had a reasonably big tent. I borrowed from a friend, so it had like a bedroom which you could fit like a double blow-up bed and a table and stuff. So, and it also had this kind of porch area. So I had, a reasonably big tent for me and the dog. Cheryl turns up and she's got a castle. It is
Oh my
like
God, the
Didn't we
castle.
call it the palace? I think
the
we called it
palace.
the palace.
That's
And
right.
later, I think the following year, the three of us went camping in the palace,
We
and we
did go
actually
camping in
put
the
it all
palace.
up ourselves, and we had gales and everything, and it
That
didn't
was
fall
literally
down.
the most girl
But
power that I have ever felt putting up that tent that year.
Yeah,
I
time
felt so
lapse.
empowered. Megs
There's a
was doing
video
the
of it actually. I
fire,
might link
eating.
it to this.
Yeah, the
Or I
time
might put
lapse
it in the
here.
edit because there is a video somewhere and it's like
Yeah.
a speeded up one. And it's the three of us putting up this tent and the dog, we'd like tethered her to the floor because she kept wandering off because we weren't paying her attention. So there's like the dog yapping and us putting up this tent at high speed, but it was blowing an absolute gale. And
Yeah.
loads of the other people on the campsite that year, the tents flew away or they came down. Ours stayed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know. So impressed.
We're hardcore. We're
We
hardcore
are.
campers.
We are. And then Cheryl and I kind of bonded over
Old
because
stuff.
the cooking situation, there was like people were living on pot noodles and it was like people are going to start getting grumpy. People need to eat a proper food. And we had this farm kitchen with it had like two hobs. There were like 9 cats in this farm. I'm sure it probably wasn't very hygienic cooking there, but we were like, I'm going to cook proper food. Just give me the food budget every day and I'll go shopping because I was in makeup first. I also finished first every day so I could like get out of the makeup. So I would like go and get the shopping and then come back and cook a meal while people are still filming. And one day Cheryl came with me and we didn't quite make it back on time.
You
We
went antique,
didn't.
you.
Because we made a detour. We were headed to Asda, weren't we? And then
Yes.
we spotted this antique shop. And we didn't realize how much each other likes old stuff and antiques and
Yeah.
vintage stuff. So we were like, "Ooh, shall we just nip in here? They won't miss us. They're not hungry and waiting for food. It's fine." So we went in there and we found some really cool stuff. Didn't you get an Elvis thing, or
I got
you
these
were
little
thinking of
Elvis
getting an Elvis
like
thing?
brochures and did you get a mirror, a compact or something?
I may have done. It
I feel
sounds
like you
like
bought a
me.
little compact that had like a little lipstick or something, or lipstick case.
When did you guys get? You
Yeah.
guys got antique bags at one point, but I
Oh,
don't
that
know what
was when we went on a hike
it is.
to the Witterings. Is that
Yeah, we found this old vintage shop, didn't we? And we got kind of 60s style vintage cases
I
and
use
I was
mine all the time when
jealous.
I'm on shoots. I use it to carry my makeup and stuff in.
they're gorgeous. They're
Mine's
so
looking a bit more battered now though, because I've used it a lot. And it had like stickers on it for like the Bahamas and Concord. So whoever had it had like exciting exotic
Ah,
holidays.
love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so basically we are all actresses, but we all kind of do other things. So I'm gonna let you girls chat about what it is you do.
Well, what do I do? What do I do? Um, well, while I have a think about what I do, Cheryl, why don't you share what you do?
What if I also say I need to think? There'll be silence for the next. No, so I love acting, but my passion is behind the camera. So for the past few years, I've mostly concentrated on writing films and producing, and I've had one go at directing. So 2025, I want to direct again. Um, but yeah, my passion is writing and creating stories. So that's predominantly what I do, even though I love being in front of the camera and that's how us three bonded. Yeah, that's my passion. Screenplays.
Megan.
You've also got Red Typewriter going on.
I I do. I have a production company called Red Typewriter Pictures, named after a vintage red typewriter that I've got.
And the
Hey,
typewriter
Funnily.
lives on some mannequin legs, right?
yes, I was gonna
Yes,
say.
which we got from the Mannequin Farm where we filmed our horror film.
Yes, it
So I
was
sprayed them red and then the typewriters on top. Quite proud of
and I
those.
turned my legs into Wizard of Oz green legs with the ruby slippers and the striped socks, but they're in the loft at the moment because I haven't really
Oh
got around to
no.
put them.
Oh
Oh
no.
no, they need to get out the loft.
I know. I think they need a respray, and I'll work something out for them.
You could make them into like a cat tree.
I don't think it's stable enough. I think the cats would like jump on it and it would fall over. They're
Bless
quite strong for small beings.
Oh, bless. Well, to answer your question, Danny, I am an actress, and that is what I love doing. I'm your typical singing, dancing actress. I've had a really successful years, but I've been professionally acting now for 7 or 8 years, something like that, and progressively growing within the industry, which has been awesome. This year was big for me. I was in Tom Hardy's new film Havoc, so that was incredible. Um, it's a far jump from when I met you guys and we slept in a field to having my own trailer and assistants just being incredibly amazing and then have being put up in this wonderful, wonderful hotel in Wales, which was like it was kind of sentimental to me as well because my grandparents, my mom are Welsh. They came from Wales, so to actually have my first real breakthrough at Dragon Studio in Wales was almost like going home in a sense, which was really nice. Um, and then yeah, I've had a couple of other films on top of that, and next year is looking really prosperous as well. So that's my that's what I do. I'm an actress. Scene.
And a songwriter, which
And a
leads me
songwriter.
to the three of us actually have a little girl band
We
called Hex. So it's H3X because there's three of us. And you know, we did a podcast. No, we were on a radio station recently, and the guy actually said to me, "How do I pronounce this?" And I was like, "It's Hex." And he was like, "Good, because H3X is a really weird name for a band." And I'm like, "Why would you think that? It looks like it says Hex." So yeah, we started out by it was I wanted to get a group of scream queens together and do like a kind of novelty Halloween themed song. And then by the time I think then we had COVID and lockdown and we ended up spending so much time together. And like we were always on Zoom calls and like we used to have like girls' nights in via Zoom and stuff. And then I was like, well, Megan's like a songwriter and you know does horror. So I'd asked Megan to do it, and then I was like, but actually, I'd prefer it to be like the three of us rather than like kind of then ask other people. So we asked Cheryl, and Cheryl was like, yay. But I don't know if her daughters are overly fond of the
I'm an embarrassment. Let's face it, I'm an embarrassment.
Ah, you're cool.
That's the whole point. You're meant to embarrass the children. I would think it was super cool if my mom was in a girl band.
I would too. I would be
Yeah.
all for it. But I guess they're just that age, aren't they, where they're just trying to discover who they are. So, you know,
They were
kids.
watching our videos the other day, especially the banana eating one, and they were, they were
Money.
like, "What were you thinking when you did this, Mum?"
Again, link to the banana eating video.
Yeah, I'll have to try and add links to this so you can watch everything. I think it's on Hex's YouTube channel, so I will link that.
Oh, it is. I was
It
showing
is.
Brad the other day, and he was like, "What were you doing?" I was like, "We're trying to see how fast we could eat a banana."
Yeah.
So, but Danny's notorious for not being able to open them. So
Yes, I
it was
and I managed that time.
you
I
were
actually,
right into that
yeah,
banana.
I was competitive. I was on a mission to win that banana eating race.
You won, didn't you?
I
Followed
did
by
win.
Cheryl,
I
and I
did win.
failed. I failed.
Yeah, I did win.
Was not my banana eating day.
So our first song was called Trick or Treat, and it was like super fun. We had so much fun doing the video. And then we've just done a Christmas song called This Christmas. And again, we shot a video, which is it was kind of touch and go if it was even going to happen, because the day I was set off to drive, I got like an hour down the road and it was like, I don't know, 6 o'clock in the morning, and the snow just started coming down. It was a blizzard, and I was like, I don't know if I can drive in this, I can't see anything. So I had to wait it out for 4 hours in a service station. Luckily they had a Costa, and until it was like daylight, and until the snow kind of stopped falling, and I thought the roads will be gritted, and then I kind of persevered with the journey. So it was yeah. And the thing is, we were running out of time because it was a Christmas song. It's not like we could just delay it because we needed it done for December. So
That's the thing with the songs we've written, isn't it? Like they are time sensitive to when you're
yeah,
going
I
to do.
feel like we should probably do some stuff that's not.
Oh,
So
I've already been working on a Valentine's Day song for us.
have you
That's not
written?
this year.
I was going to say, maybe for next Valentine's Day, maybe we should do something kind of more, all the timey in between, and then do a Valentine's one for next.
Oh, it could be themed in between the holidays.
Well, I would think it would be great fun to do, well, like a Halloween miss. I do Halloween miss anyway on Halloween, so I do like Christmas dinner on Halloween and Secret Satan presents.
I love that.
But you could do like Summerween. That's a thing. You could have like a
Oh,
horror themed party in the summer, so like a barbecue in the summer, but like everyone has to dress up in Halloween costumes. That would be fun.
but
We
then
could,
isn't that just fancy dress?
no,
Oh,
because it's
I guess you have to be.
it's horror themed, so it's
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
Maybe people should send in ideas for our next themes.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
I like the idea of
I'm not really
see
feeling an
classic.
Easter song, because I mean, I don't think you can beat Chick 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 Chicken.
Chick, chick, chick. Bun, 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 bunny.
But bunnies don't lay eggs. What will they do?
They do. They carry around chocolate.
that's legs, don't they,
Well,
Danny?
yeah. So where were we when you asked me this question? I think Cheryl and I were in Edinburgh, and we were like I think we'd walked up Arthur's Seat, and then we would come back down, and we were like somewhere else. It was kind of high up. I don't really know exactly where we were, but there were bats kind of flying around us, and they were flying at the kind of same level as our heads. And Cheryl's like, "Do bats lay eggs?"
I don't think they eat eggs.
I
I
don't
think
think
you should.
I don't
I
think they
think
eat eggs either. They
give
eat bugs.
because when you were up in Scotland, some oogly boogly stuff happened in your
Yeah,
hotel room.
That's
yeah.
true. We had a ghost.
Bob the ghost.
Why Bob? I
I
always
don't
find it.
know why we called
I
him Bob.
don't
I
know.
think it was just the first name that came into my mind, and so we called the ghost Bob, and Bob's been kind of around ever since. He's
With
Yeah,
you.
stayed with Cheryl.
No, no, with you. He likes it up north.
I don't know because Cheryl came and she was babysitting my dog while I was up
Oh,
north, and she said there was some bumps in the night, and I reckon it was Bob.
It was
Per
probably Bob.
honor.
It was probably Bob. I think he doesn't want you to feel lonely, so he stays with you.
oh, how kind of him.
So we were literally in bed and it was freezing. So we had like I literally had my head under the covers because it was so cold. It was like October in Edinburgh, so it's freezing. And I turned the light off. And it's one of those old school lamps where you have to kind of push the button right through to the other side to turn it on or off. So I turn it off and you can hear it click like when you press the button through. Anyway, so we go to sleep, like just close our eyes and it's like a minute later and then the light just you hear the click and the light just comes back on, so we both kind of like shot out of the covers and like Cheryl was so scared her teeth were actually chattering and I just like turned around and I was like laughing and then I just turned around and went back to sleep. And then
I didn't think that was actually a thing. I thought you just read about it in books, like someone's teeth were chattering. But actually, when you're scared, it does happen. But what we need to say is before we got haunted, we went to Europe's most haunted graveyard on a ghost tour. So I don't know if something followed us back to the
I
hotel.
never thought
Um,
about that actually.
yeah.
That's
Was the hotel actually haunted? Like, was it known for being haunted?
well, you say this. It was actually an Airbnb and Cheryl messaged the owner and said, I'm just wondering if anybody's ever said anything about the place being haunted. And he was like, no, but then he never charged us. So we
No,
actually
he
got a free stay. Um, so I feel like Ghost Bob helped us out there. I think, or like the owner must have felt bad because we got haunted or something. I don't know, but then yeah, we never got charged for the hotel or the Airbnb.
Maybe that should be our thing. We'll just say, excuse me, was this haunted?
This place is haunted. Yeah,
I
I
didn't get
mean,
any very loud.
I forgot that we'd gone on that ghost tour. I never actually linked those two things, but you now have. So
Yeah. And didn't the man actually warn us? He said sometimes people have some ghostly activities after the tour. And we were
yeah.
like, nah.
See, I love like the idea of ghosts, and I want to like see ghosts, but I'm kind of I don't know. I'm like it could have just been an electrical thing. Like I'm always trying to find a way of debunking stuff.
That's
Like,
good
I don't want
though.
my teeth to chatter again ever.
I thought it was really funny, but I mean it wasn't an easy button to press through, so I don't think it could have just done it itself. That's the thing. So I'm like, well, maybe. But then I'm like, well, if the worst a ghost is going to do is turn on a light, it's not really that much to be scared about. But then for the rest of the trip, Cheryl unplugged all of the lamps in the whole of the Airbnb. So the living room, all the lamps are out of the wall. In the bedroom, the lamps are out of the wall. And like when we went out for the day, the lamps all got unplugged. And we went to bed, the lamps got unplugged. So if you needed the loo in the night, you couldn't turn a lamp on. You just had to kind of find it in
Oh,
the dark.
wow, Cheryl. The
Oh.
weirdest one I ever had here was I was going to the bathroom and Brad's office is at the bottom of the garden. And I like we don't lock the door or anything. It's just us. So and it was before we had Del Boy, our dog. But I was watching dogs. But all of a sudden the door starts opening and I yell, "Oh no, stop. I'm in here." And I see this like weird glowy head like peek out and then like leave. And I was like, okay, that was weird. Really weird. And then a couple months later, before Cheryl came to watch Dell, the door handle in the bathroom was ripped off. And I was like, that's weird. Like Brad was in the Philippines and I was just me. And it was just like it would take some force, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe one of the dogs jumped up and pulled it down. So I went and I got like those plugs for walls and stuff. And I drilled the handle in properly.
So good at DIY.
But the next day it was loose and pretty much off again. So I'm some kind of ghost is determined to use that bathroom. I just don't know why, or is that how they went? Is that how they died? The urge to use the loo?
I don't know, but I think my bathroom's really cold. It's like the coldest room in my apartment. And
I'm
it's like
convinced.
you literally walk in there and it's freezing. So it could just be because it's like an extension bit that's built on. But it could be a haunted bathroom. I don't know.
I'm convinced because, audience, her cats won't leave her alone when she's in the tub. They
No.
guard.
Yeah, they just sit on the toilet. The one sits on the toilet and one sits on the side of the bath, and they just stare at me the whole time. It's quite
Yeah, they're like,
disconcerting. I will never bath in peace again. I don't
they're
think.
probably like, you have no idea what's like lurking in here, and you're just happily taking a bath.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. I've been here since April. So I've been here a while now and
Wow.
nothing bad has happened. So
That's
if there's a
good.
haunted bathroom, I'm okay with that. But did you tell Cheryl about this before she stayed at yours, or did you keep it a secret until
She knew, and then
Hmm.
she asked me,
Did I? Did I?
yeah, she literally was like, okay, before I come, is there anything I should know, any ghostly activities? And I was like, no, Cheryl, no, nothing. We're all good. Because I knew she wouldn't come. And I really needed her to watch the dog, who you can
I
now
can see,
sort
is that his tail? I can see, yeah, I
of,
can see his little tail
Oh.
poking up.
he
Hey,
has
Mel.
he has no sense of bloody privacy. Like he's like, oh, mommy's on a call, mommy's doing business. Let's be in here too. Snooping on me. He's snooping. But yeah, I convinced Cheryl that everything was all right. And in my defense, I had dinner with a medium a couple nights before I left because my sister knew these people and randomly they were just in our part of town. And so I was talking to this medium and he's like, well, I'll do like a house clearing, but all I need to know is like your address and then I'll clear the house. I was like, okay. So I gave him it and he's like, okay, everything should be good now. So I was like, oh, well then I'm not lying to Cheryl. This guy told me that it was fine. So it's
Well, maybe he went to the number next door. He did the wrong number in the street. Because when
Cool. Do you
I
get rid of
was,
your ghosts,
I,
or do you like having them?
mine.
I feel like I'd like having ghosts if they were like friendly. I'd like them being around.
Yeah, I don't mind. I like all that kind of stuff though, because for me, it gives me peace that if I just, keeled over one day, I would just, have some friends there on the other side to help me
Yeah.
pass. Yeah.
Would you haunt us?
I would so haunt you.
Okay,
I
thanks.
would do weird things. I'd like
what
knock.
would you do to us? What would you do?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I would wait for my time. I would wait. I'd give you your privacy though. Like I wouldn't be rude and like busy. There'd be privacy.
Well, I like in Buff. No, it's in Angel actually. When Cordelia has the ghost, she moves into the apartment that's haunted by Phantom Dennis. But then he kind of lives there and he kind of helps her like with stuff. And I
I
think that
love
would be quite cool if you had a ghost that could like help you with things like, I don't know, if you like turn the heating on before you come home and warm the place up for you. That would be like a handy ghost to have.
Dennis doesn't seem like the name of a ghost, does it?
He was called Dennis before he was a ghost, and then so he just
Oh,
kept.
I know, but it just seems weird. I've never really thought of what a ghostie's name should be. Bob. Just Bob.
Welcome back to the Scream Princess podcast. So we have been on so many like little adventures together since we met. And then I think because we had lockdown and when you were allowed to kind of meet up again, but you had to do things outside, we ended up going on quite a lot of walks together. So one of them that I loved, we'd actually gone up to the peaks and we'd climbed Scarfell Pike, which is like the highest mountain in England. And then we went home, and the day we got back, we realized we all kind of had a day off. So we ended up just randomly deciding to go to Avebury, which is like a stone circle, but it's one where you can actually go right up to the stones and you can touch stones. It's a really amazing place. It's got like a really incredible energy. It's a very spiritual place. And we had this beautiful summer's day. And like, I don't know how any of us really wanted to walk after we just climbed a mountain, but we all felt fine. So we kind of went along. We had the dogs with us. So there was Dolly and Cheryl's dog too. And it was just a really beautiful day walking around. And at one point, we were all walking along. And then Megan's just like, can you see that like guy standing on that mountain? Me and Cheryl are like, no. And Megan just saw this like random ghost dude.
Yeah, he was just there. He's just looking. Yeah. I remember that. But there was also that shrine thingy that we ran into as well.
Yeah. So it was a barrow, which is like an old burial chamber, and they'd excavated one. You could go inside it. So a lot of those mounds, that's what those mounds are, but they're all kind of covered over. And we almost cut the walk a little bit shorter. I think Megan had to get back for some reason, but then we decided not to cut it shorter. Had we cut it shorter, we'd have completely missed this amazing, place. But we ended up kind of going down into this excavated tomb, basically, like felt like Indiana Jones, which is obviously my dream. But I think lots of pagans had put like little floral bouquets in there, and there were like candles in
Incense.
there, incense. But it was really incredible. It was like such a cool thing to find that and especially we had no idea that it was actually there. So if you're into kind of stuff like that, a little bit of archaeology on your hike, then that's a really good one to go to. I'd like to do that again. I just think that was such an amazing day. And then we found that farm and we sat on like the wall and we had our sandwiches and like
Yeah.
a little bit of a kind of famous 5-star adventure.
It was hot out that day as well. So
It
the
was.
when we climbed the mountain, it was like we were just head to toe covered. We were so
Yeah,
cold.
we were like in a cloud, weren't we, at the top? It was like,
Yeah,
but
it
yeah, it's
it was
mountain
hard.
weather.
It was a hard graft, and annoyingly, we had gone the wrong way. Not
Yeah,
our fault, but we'd gone the wrong way
it
for
wasn't
like
our
half
fault.
an hour. Yeah, we had another person with us, and uh, they did take us up an incredible waterfall. I will say that, but
Yeah,
it
it
was
was just an
hard.
extra hour of walking on top of climbing a mountain.
That was really difficult. And the funniest thing is, so Cheryl and Danny were completely like beautifully made up, just stunning as always. And as we're walking, there's this man coming towards us, and he's on his little tractor and he's got all these sheep around him. And I can't do the accent justice, but if
It
you
was
want to
like
read
a, was it like a Yorkshire accent? Is it in
Yeah.
Yorkshire? I think it's in Yorkshire. It might not be in Yorkshire.
well, it was up near the Lake District somewhere, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, so it's not in Yorkshire.
But he
Cumbria.
had that, and he's like, what did he say? Something like, "What you doing
Like,
now?"
yeah, what you lasses got your makeup on for? You're going up bloody hill. He said something like
Yeah, that's right. And that was like that was
Not on the bridge with all the sheep. So it's just
yeah.
this bridge, and all the sheep start running over this bridge, and the bridge is only like this wide. And Megan's just like stood there holding on for dear life so these sheep don't take her out.
I was getting floated away by sheep. That was a hard climb though. Luckily, Cheryl was a queen and had these little jellies in her pocket and cookies because I was all like, no, I'm gonna be healthy and
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring, bananas and crap.
Yeah.
No, you're climbing a mountain, bring sugar.
Yes. Well, you're meant to have those like Kendall mint cakes, aren't you? I don't know what they taste like. I've never had one, but it's like to give you the sugar and the energy. I think I
Yeah.
had marshmallows, like vegan marshmallows. That was when
Oh,
they were like freshly a thing, so you could get them. So we had them.
yeah. But that was a good trip. That was a really good trip. And like you say, the next day was completely a different, climate change. It was just, it
Crazy.
went from so cold to then
Yeah.
just be
But we
so,
were in the north and then we were in the south. So you do get better weather in the south. We've got a
absolutely.
weird Christmas up here though. So I'm in the northeast now. And Christmas and Boxing Day, like Christmas, we went to the beach for a little while, just like to get some fresh air. I'd like been in bed for like 3 days with this cold. And I was like, when your sinus and your head's really bunged up, we're like, let's go to the beach, just get some air. And I had to take my coat off and I had to take my jumper off. And then the following day, Boxing Day, I was like, right, I'm going to go for a walk. And I managed to do like 6 miles. And I was sweating because I'd worn like a hoodie and then it was so hot. I had to tie my coat around my waist. And it was like this really weird, warm December weather when it's not usually that warm in the Northeast anyway. But then like yesterday was kind of back to normal weather. So it was
Yeah.
grey, overcast, a little bit foggy.
It was here as well. It was bitter cold. I mean, this morning was bitter, bitter cold. I could only take Dell for a short walk. My hands were freezing.
Mm.
Oh, bring back the summertime.
I know. I'm
Oh,
so ready for it now. So like I'm pretty much Halloween all year round. That's like kind of goes with the job, doesn't it? So it's Halloween all year round. But like after Halloween, bonfire night, and then once it's bonfire night, I decorate for Christmas. And I have that kind of period of being very, very Christmassy. As soon as Christmas is over, I feel like I'm Christmased out and I'm ready for kind of Halloween again, but like with summer and away.
Oh,
So
my house is clear now. All those decorations
I'm going to do
went
mine tomorrow. I
away.
think I'll take all mine down tomorrow.
Yeah, I took all it was Boxing Day and I was like, right, decorations
Yeah.
gone. Goodbye. Hello, fresh house, clean house,
Yeah.
happy
I know like
house.
some people leave them up till the 6th, and I think I used to, but the
And
last few years,
Cheryl.
do you leave them up? The last few years, I've made sure it was all taken down before New Year's Eve so that I could like really start the new year very fresh and kind of ready to go, and I don't have that kind of hanging over me to do. I think I'll do
Love.
it tomorrow because he's working nights tomorrow, so he'll have the daytime to help me, um, like pass me things in the loft, so I don't have to keep
So
climbing up and down the ladder.
yeah, I can't I like once Christmas is done, unless we're hosting, once it's done, it's done. And I'm happy to move forward into
Although
the
I
new
did buy some, I just went to Asda and they had these like penguin bao buns. So like they're the Christmas bao buns, they're vegan, but I was like, and they were on offer because it's now after Christmas. So I was like, well, I can still get penguin bao buns because they look super cute. So I think
yeah,
I'll like, do them for New Year's Eve and we'll just have like nibble on
Starbucks
the
is
table.
Christmas.
Oh, I
Little
got the
Christmas with
Christmas cup. I
Starbucks.
got this cup for Christmas. How cool is this? It's a Wednesday cup and it's got
Ah,
thing and it's got like glitter,
Oh,
but it's
cool.
really big. So it's really hard to drink from. Like
I love that.
it's super cute, isn't it? I'm obsessed with like cups, like drinking, like not, like not drinking from a glass. So we've got some Beetlejuice ones that match, and then he got me this one, and he's got like a Sonic the Hedgehog one.
Oh, that's
That is
nice.
super cute.
It's hard to drink from them, but I love it. It's so cute.
Honestly, if it makes drinking water fun, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I put like squash in it to make drinking water fun.
Oh,
So we're coming up to New Year. We've had a little bit of a chat about Christmas and we've chatted about kind of what we do and how we know each other. And like, I think it's obvious that we've gone on loads of adventures and hikes and camping and all kinds of things. But I need to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions because this is going to be the first episode that goes out. So it's not actually the first one I've recorded. So they're kind of been recorded out of sync because I had the cold and I had to kind of cancel us the other day. Because I'd have been sneezing and coughing all the way through it would have been ridiculous. But this one's actually going to be the first one that airs. So I think we should talk about what our New Year's resolutions are. Have we got any? There was one year we actually got together, and I don't know if was it actually New Year's Eve that we got together and we ended up sat around.
2020.
Was it New Year's Eve and we sat around with these Megan got these massive like sheets of like colored cardboard. I think you got me a pink one. I can't remember what colors you two had. And we had all these magazines and we sat there for the whole evening, like cutting little bits out and making these kind of mood boards or vision boards for the year, which I think was 2020.
2020, and the reason I know that is because I stupidly glued my year wrong, and I put 2002, and Danny looked at it. She's like, "I'm Megan." I think that's the wrong way. And yeah, I found the photo actually the other day, and it made me laugh so much. That's why I know it's 2020.
I
Uh,
think you caused the pandemic. There was some kind of time loop. Something went wrong. And the hilarious thing was like I put lots of stickers for travel and adventure on my mood board. And then of course we were in lockdown, so we couldn't go to any of these places I put on my mood board.
I can't remember what I had on mine. I think at the time I was like, I wanted to finish my Reiki training, which I did end up doing in lockdown, and I wanted to do like the crystal bits and things. So I did actually do quite a lot of the things on there. Um, but yeah, I actually kept mine. I had it until I moved house. I had it, and then I finally got rid of it. But I kind of wish I had taken a picture of it. I didn't even think to do that. But I'd loved it if we could have done that again this year. It was super cute. But what are
I'm
your New Year's
literally looking
resolutions?
at 2020, and it's just us. It's just all of our adventures. What a year that was.
I know, I really miss adventures and like because we all live in different places, it's just like and it's my fault because I've moved 5 hours away. But we do need to have more adventures. So that's one of my resolutions. Like when we got together to record this Christmas and shoot the video, we literally only had the one day together, but it was like I'd have loved to you know, if we'd had a bit more time to do some more stuff, although it was very cold and snowing. But yeah, it was lovely to kind of get back together, the three of us, because it's been so long, like until like since it had been just the three of us together, because otherwise it's like two of us, like Cheryl and I, or Cheryl and Megan.
It can be really difficult to get our
Yeah,
schedules.
we
Like
need we
my,
need to
my
like,
acting was like amazing this year, but what it had meant was I was away, and then you were really busy with your house and getting
yeah.
everything set up and sorted and moved in because you really, for quite a long while, didn't have a
I
base.
was a nomad for a while. I went from like my London apartment, sold it, and then I was like just staying with friends while I found somewhere to buy. And I ended up like living in Scotland for a little while, for a couple of months there as
You
well.
did,
I
yeah.
did, which like up until Cheryl and I went to Scotland, so 2022 or 21, maybe 21. It was after
Yeah, I think it
lockdown.
was.
It was after lockdown, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, so up until then, I had never been to Scotland. And then it ended up with me living in Scotland for a little while. So it was a really cool adventure. And there's so much more of Scotland that I'd really love to see. And I think there's some really good, like, kind of creepy ghost stories, like from all over Scotland. So I'd like to do more Scotland.
It's beautiful as well.
Mhm.
When I first moved to England, I did like a little road trip with a couple of people, and we drove through the Five Sisters of Kintail, which are these beautiful mountains.
Mhm.
And I couldn't believe how breathtaking Scotland
Yeah.
was. Like you think, oh, Scotland, people in, kilts and stuff, and kind of like I quite like a Scotsman, so but yeah, it was like the beauty of that country is
Mm. It's
insane.
stunning. It's stunning. So I was in the borders, so that's just kind of like just as you get into Scotland. But I was only an hour on the train from Edinburgh, so I could just park my car at the station, jump on the train. So I've been to
Oh,
Edinburgh like quite a few times now after
yeah.
that first
I'd
trip.
like to go again. We'll have to make our way.
We
The thing
will.
is, right, is it's like so one of my New Year's resolutions is to hang out with you girls more and to make that effort to not like I'm always busy, but it's to make time to see you and to go on girls' trips and like little
Yes.
mini outings.
I feel like we should do at least every 3 months. We should have a girls' trip, whether it's like
Yeah.
100%.
way we could do like
Right?
one kind of abroad one, and then some like kind of
Yeah.
in the UK ones.
The crazy thing is like because we're so close to Europe, you can jump on like a little plane, go
Mhm.
across to Europe, be like eat croissants or whatever, and come back all in the same day. And it's still cheaper than going up north or like the south. Heaven forbid we step into the south because it's so expensive in England. And so that's one of my New Year's resolutions is to have those adventures with
Mm.
the people I love.
Because we did
And
do a lot for a while, but obviously it was
yeah.
lockdown, like the industry was closed, none of us could work. But yeah, since everyone's been back to work, it's just been a lot more difficult. And I
It's
moved.
hard. Yeah, life gets in the way. As Jeff Goldblum didn't quote because he actually quoted life finds a way, but you know what I mean. We love Jeff. We love
It's got
Jeff.
nothing to do with him at all. But yeah, we definitely need more Hex adventures.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
do.
And
I
I think
love
we've
this.
all got a bit of a yoga mission. That was like you guys are
Yes.
chatting. And
Yeah, we've got the
I've
apps
been
now.
doing yoga teacher training, and I don't really want to be a yoga teacher, but I do Reiki and crystal healing and sound therapy. And I thought, well, if I could add yoga, I don't have to rely on another yoga teacher, and I could do like full day workshops. So it could be like yoga, sound bath of crystals. So I've been kind of working my way through my yoga teacher training, and I wanted to finish it by the end of this year, but I just haven't. So I'm hoping I can finish that in January.
That's
Can we be
great.
your guinea pigs? Can you teach
Yeah,
us?
yeah, you can. But then I do have to kind of get back into doing yoga. I haven't really even been doing yoga myself for the last like few months. I think since I moved and it's all just been hectic. So I need to kind of get
Hectic.
hectic. I need to get back into doing yoga. I need to get back into the gym properly. I need to get fit again.
That is also my new. So literally this morning, I sent Danny and Cheryl a text in our group message, and I was like, What's the best yoga thing? Because I'm not paying 100 quid to see a yoga instructor. And Danny's recommended a great app. So as of January 1st, we're all going to encourage each other
Yeah.
to do yoga once a day. I
And you know
can't
the
touch my
app as
toes.
well, it like so if you do a it's called Down Dog.
Yeah.
You kind of put in how long you want to do, the type of yoga you want to do. It'll generate you a class. So it's slightly different every time. Like sometimes you'll end up doing the same moves, sometimes you'll have different stuff. But it marks off that you've done it. So it actually keeps track for you as well.
Here's
Where
the
is it?
word.
There
There.
it is. I'm pointing. There it is. Yeah. And there's Brad.
There's Brad.
Yeah, it actually puts a marker on the days that you've done, so it keeps a list for you, so you can kind of see. And I think they're doing a challenge to do it like every day in January, and you can sign up.
Darren, you can win merch.
Can you?
Amazing.
Have you signed up? I'll sign up if you've signed up.
I've signed everything. My
You
life
signed your life away.
Find your life away to yoga. We
did.
went on another amazing trip actually. We went
That
to
was actually a November or December trip.
Was it? We went, it was
Yeah.
December because
December, I think.
Dolly had just died, my little dog. I lost the dog, and Cheryl and Megan were going away to do like a writing retreat, but then they ended up going, well, you have to come with us because we don't want to leave you. And then we ended up having a really amazing time. And we had this like 1970s or 60s or 70s. It was a bus in Wales that had been converted. It was an Airbnb converted into like a little apartment. So we had a cooker, there was a log burning fire, there's a little table with just 4 chairs. And I think there was like one double bed and then one sofa that Megan ended up sleeping on.
Yeah,
And
you guys shared a bed.
yeah, we
I
ended
wasn't sure if
Cheryl and I
Dan-
end up sharing a bed, but we
Yeah.
had our own yoga studio as well. So these women, they were from London that had bought it. So they'd bought it obviously just for some kind of retreat. And we were getting up, and Megan was getting up earlier and going turning the heating on in the yoga studio, and then we would go down there. So that was the app actually I was using then for the yoga as well. So you have done it before.
Do you remember I really hated that stupid baby pose?
The happy baby.
I'm not a happy
That's one of my
baby.
favorite poses, and you don't like it at
Yeah,
all.
I
I like
can't
that one.
do it. Yeah, I'm not a happy
Happy
baby.
baby.
I'm not. I'm not. The thing is, I'm not a yoga. I hate stretching. I hate it. I can't touch my toes for the life of me. The ground seems a lot further away, and I'm only 5'3", so it's like I see elderly people like just like being all like wow and touching the toes and stuff, and I'm like, can't do that. So on top of the yoga, which I know is also one of Danny's wants for the year, is that we both want to be able to do the splits by the end of the year.
That's been my New Year's resolution since I was about 12.
Me too. And I remember every year going into it and being like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I never did. So I'm going to do it now. And I'm going to encourage
if we all encourage each other, then we might get there.
I reckon we will. So we have the teddy bears. I'm going through our photos. We've got teddy bears picnic, which Cheryl failed to bring her teddy bear on.
Yeah, her idea as well.
It was my idea. And then
Where was that? That was Box Hill. So that was Box Hill in Surrey that we'd hiked. And you cross the river on these little stepping stones, which is really cute. And I went back there. So it must have been like April or something, like another year. And the whole floor is like covered in wild garlic in that forest. It's a really good place for foraging if you want some wild garlic for soup.
I do like garlic. So I'm on our so it was actually the 11th of December in 2020 when we went on our little tour. I've got a little video. Look at that.
Oh, it's stunning, wasn't it?
And Cheryl got into that bath in the fields.
Didn't I?
Yeah,
it's all about the art
in the field full of water, and I think it's for like feeding cattle. And Cheryl was like, "Well, this will make a good picture," so she put on a dress and got in the bath. It would have been
out in that field.
It was amazing.
We were so cold, like so. We were freezing. We had just done that really big walk, and there was beautiful waterfalls and everything, and we nothing really was open, so we went back. And Cheryl was determined to get into this tub for these beautiful photos. And I was like, nope, you're on your own. So Danny, bless her, trotted out of the field with her as I got the fire going inside. I was so cold. I love you guys, but I'm like, no, if I'm cold, that's it. You've lost me.
And because
I
we'd
don't know
like
why.
the dog, we'd lost the dog, like I think she died on like the 6th. So then it was just a few days later that we went away. But we got back to the bus on the evening and we were all looking through our phones at the photos we'd taken. And I think it was Megan had this picture of
Cheryl.
like the waterfalls, and it had the waterfalls like the shape of the dog. It was like the weirdest thing. And I actually I sent the picture into like a magazine. I think it was like Spirit and Destiny or something, and it got printed that it was like because the dog always used to come on all of our hikes with us, and it was like she was kind of still there with us, which was like super cute. It made me feel a bit better. And I won a book for your photography actually, so I should probably pass it on to you now that I've read it.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, we've been on some great adventures, and we need to really carry those on. I think it's so
We
easy.
do.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this year has just gone, and it's
Yeah.
been an incredible year, and so many good things have happened. There's been life-changing things for all of us. There's been transformational things as well, amazing work things. Cheryl, for example, is working with this really big exec producer, I think would he be in, is it, it's not Abu Dhabi, is it Abu Dhabi?
No, Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But like this insane script that is going to change her life, and you just lose the year. And I was so grateful
Gone
for the
quickly.
video to kind of get us
I think
back
the older
together.
you get, the faster they seem to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrifying.
I know. And I was like, I don't want to get older. You
Yeah.
just stay the
I've
same age.
No.
It's
literally
like
been
freezing
living
time.
my adventures this year have been living vicariously through Danny and all her walks that she's been doing, these incredible walks that she posts. And I'm like, oh, I don't need to go there now. I've seen it.
No, you do. You need to come and do them with me. Like when you come up
We
here, I'm going to
do.
take you back to Holy Island because you can walk around this whole island. It's like 3 hours, but like you can only get to and from it at certain times of day because it's like the causeway gets covered in the sea, so you can't like drive. But that's a really cool walk. That was
That's
actually
cool.
Kyle and I's first hike. That was not a date. It was just a hike, and then it obviously went from there. So, but yeah, we'll have to go there because that's a good adventure. We've got lots of castles and things in the north, so lots of like haunted adventures can happen.
I love haunted
I
adventures.
feel like every time we do a trip, we should make sure we do like one haunted thing. So whether we find a haunted pub for dinner or like we should find one spooky thing on each trip. That can be a resolution.
I do. I find death masks really unnerving. They creep me out. Because in York, one of the oldest pubs, which I think is it called the Lamb or the Sheep?
Yes,
The,
I just went
Oh,
there actually last
yeah,
month.
and they've got the death masks on the
have
wall,
Oh,
they?
I didn't even notice that. It was
yes,
busy.
and it creeps me out. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
like
gonna go
it.
back. It's only like an hour and a half from me now. Um,
What would you guys do? Like if I created a death mask of my face and then
on the
had Brad
wall.
send it to you guys as like a so long for Megan.
I'd
I'd like
paint
paint
it
it.
and
I'd
make it
paint
cute.
it, put some glitter on. Like we could decorate
Yeah.
them. Cheryl and I could like have like a day where we just like decorate them. Megan and I
Yeah. Art and crafts day.
on the wall.
Painting
That's with
Megan's death
Megan's
mask.
face. Love
I feel like that's a thing. Like whoever goes first, we should do that.
the death mask.
Mhm.
I don't want any of us to go first. Hopefully
No,
they'll invent something to stop all dying
we can
soon.
live forever and we'll be old and
Yeah.
ugly and wrinkly.
Oh dear.
And we actually did that picture. Do you remember that picture of us? And there was like an app and we made ourselves into old ladies. And I just looked like this cougar. So for some reason, I'm
You were
blonde now.
glamorous.
I was like, yeah, I had like red lips, like blonde hair and a tan. And
I
then,
was huge. I'd eaten all the cakes apparently.
and you'd had your hair was cut really, really short.
Yeah, I
And
think
then,
I still have that picture.
I
I
think,
looked like I looked like a cute little mum kind of thing.
yeah. I'll probably just end up with like loads more cats when I'm old. So 2 now. I was thinking yesterday though, when I was like going for a walk, and I was like, I really do think I should get a dog because like it would make me walk more. But then when it's cold,
I yeah,
you know,
I like that is the thing. Like with Del Boy, if you've not walked him by 8:30, he will just tell you about it and tell you about it and tell you about it until you walk him. And then he does this thing where it's like he won't let you put on his harness. He runs to the other side of the house. So you're chasing him and you're like, why? So you're actually getting good
Yeah.
exercise just because the
Speaking of a
dog.
cat chatting, I'm wondering if I've locked her brother in the bathroom because she's just kind of sat
Oh,
there. They're being fed, so it's not. She doesn't want food. She's just like sat there, like making noises at me. But I mean, he
you
can
know.
be in there the whole time if it is, or he. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing. She's kind of sat in the doorway, just staring at me.
So what other New Year's resolutions do you ladies have? So
Well,
obviously exercise and getting fit and
yeah.
being in splits. What else? And seeing each other more with travel and whatnot. But what
Yeah.
else?
I don't know. I think that's kind of like my main ones. Like, obviously, I want to get this podcast launched. I've got a few other little pieces and things I want to do. So I want to bring back my vegan vamp, where I had like the vegan vamp website and blog. I'm not going to bring that back, but I'm going to do like a cooking show on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to have the vegan vamp's going to kind of be reformed as kind of something else. I want to do a few little bits and pieces. So I don't want to say too much about things until they happen because I don't want to jinx stuff. But
Oh,
yeah, I just want to kind of like work a bit harder and kind of do stuff that I want to do because I think I procrastinate. Like I'm always like, I'll just do it tomorrow, and then it doesn't get done. Like because I don't know where to start really. That's the thing. But I need to kind of focus and
bubble charts are
yeah,
amazing for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Have you got any more?
Mine is like getting on top of my health kind of thing and living more of a healthier life, trying to take care of myself a little more, trying. I want to get a little more into music again because I've sort of taken a back step to it unless I need to. So I've really enjoyed singing recently. Now that I actually have my voice back, it took almost a whole month of not being able to talk
Hmm.
to now actually be able to start practicing again, which is really nice. So I realized how much I missed it. But it's to put my foot down on that gas pedal and create. I've got a film I want to create that a few investors are interested in. So that's really exciting. And
Do have a
then
script finished that I would like to get made, but I've had
yeah,
that finished for a while. And I don't know
yeah.
where to start with that either because it's one that needs a bit more of a budget than like the other ones. So
Yeah, I've set my sights quite high for budget, but the people I'm talking to are interested. So, you never know who you're going to meet, and fingers crossed. So, more networking with good people, get rid of any negativity that drains my life, which I don't have much of, but if there is somebody who's going to use me, they can go to the door. And and yeah, it's literally looking after myself a little more. My partner Brad and I are going to Belize shortly, and I've had this like crazy reoccurring dream for years, and I'm convinced the place is Belize, and I've never been. So I'm wondering if when we go, all of a sudden new prospects will open up, or opportunities, or you meet people, or you discover something, and I'm hoping that kind of feeds into a good timeline of a really good year. So that's
hmm.
kind of it. That's kind of me. Um,
We're running out of time, so we'll have to get quick ones from Cheryl if she's got anything.
Cheryl.
I think for me, just to have a really good balance, like I want to really succeed in what I want to do career-wise, be very focused. For example, I want to direct, I want the scripts I'm writing to be made. But then on the other hand, I want to be very intentional about my time and spending more time in nature and with good people. Just filling my life with good things and then casting out the negative things for 2025.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and being my first guests. And I feel like we could literally talk for hours, like about just everything we've done. So I'll definitely have to bring you both back on. I'll bring you back on separately so you can kind of talk more about your kind of own stuff and go more into like your careers. But I just thought for this one it would be fun just to get together and have a chat.
Oh, I love it. We should have face masks on, really.
Yes, next
We
time.
should.
Next
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll speak to
Thank
you
you so much.
later.
Thanks, Daddy. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.